What if I told you that many flowers, even complex ones like this hellebore, actually start with the exact same structure? Today, I'm going to show you how I built this hellebore from a simple sketch and then bring it to life using multiple fineliner sizes to create texture, depth, and light. And if you're trying to improve your pen and ink skills, this process will help you understand how lines alone can create volume and softness. And because one of our goals is to practice observation, I'm going to be working with a reference image, which you'll find to your left. So the first thing I'm doing is breaking the flower down into simple shapes. This is the same concept I explained in my previous video where we drew a daisy using a very simple circular structure that can actually be used for dozens of flowers. So in case you missed it, make sure to check it out. I'll leave the link in the description. As you may see here, I drew a larger circle that represents the overall width of the flower, a medium-sized circle to draw the inner petals, and a smaller circle in the center for the cluster of stamens. This helps establish balance and proportion before any details appear. Once those circles are in place, I start defining the inner petals using very loose organic shapes. These inner petals look like they're gently rolling and folding inward, almost as if each petal is softly hugging itself. So even as we're just sketching, it's important to see that whenever you notice folds like this in a flower, that's going to be a great opportunity to add depth by placing a few soft lines where those petals overlap. And remember that at this stage, I'm not worrying about perfection. I'm simply observing how wide each petal opens, where they overlap, and how they curve away from the center. Observation is really the key here. If you pause and truly look at the flower, you'll notice that no two petals are identical. That slight irregularity is what makes botanical drawings feel natural. Now, for the stem and the leaves, I use very simple organic outlines, thinking about their gesture rather than the detail. And if you'd like me to create a video specifically dedicated to drawing leaves, how to simplify their shapes, textures, and veins, let me know in the comments. I'd really love to make that for you. And right before we start inking, I'll just add a few details I'm looking from the reference image here, just to make sure I don't forget them as I move forward. And if you're drawing along with me, don't worry if your sketch looks rough. In pen and ink, the magic often happens during the inking stage, not at the sketch part. And now I'm going to move forward with my Micron 05 to outline the flower and make this exercise a little faster. I'm going to start with a slightly thicker line because it immediately establishes the structure of the drawing. Now, with my Micron 03, I'm going to start defining the center of the flower, including the delicate stamens, those tiny thread-like structures that extend outward from the middle, and the inner petals surrounding them. And because this area is so intricate, I'm using a slightly finer pen to carefully build the forms without overwhelming the drawing. And here's again my reference image to help me guide the rest of the details. Notice how the stamens cluster around the center and how we can easily draw them using simple little ovals. And now, with my Micron 02, we're going to start outlining the inner petals. When outlining petals, I try to keep the line fluid and slightly varied. Instead of pressing evenly, I allow the line to feel a little lighter in some areas and slightly stronger in others. This prevents the drawing from feeling stiff. Next, I'm switching to the Micron 005, which is the finest lines available. This pen is perfect for creating the delicate veins of the petals. Instead of drawing them as rigid lines, I allowed them to flow naturally outward from the center. In nature, veins rarely form perfect straight paths. They gently curve and fade as they approach the edges. And keeping the Micron 005, we'll move forward and start shading the inner petals. And this is where pen and ink becomes really interesting because we're not using color, we're using density of lines. Instead of filling areas with solid black, I build shadows slowly using fine directional strokes. And you'll notice that the shadows usually appear under the central cluster, near petal overlaps, and on the right side of the flower. And now I'm switching to a Micron 08 to create the small dark spots near the center of the flower. Hellebores often have these subtle markings, and they add a lot of character to the petals. Because this pen is thicker, I use it very sparingly. Too many marks with a thick pen can quickly overpower the drawing. So I place the spots strategically near the center, allowing them to fade as they move outward. This creates a natural visual rhythm. And switching back to our Micron 005, it's important to notice the light source is coming from the upper left. Understanding your light source before shading is extremely important. Without it, shadows can start to look random. But once you know where the light is coming from, every line has a purpose. And because I'm trying to preserve the delicate, lighter tone of this flower, I'm adding only very subtle and sparse lines in the most crucial areas. This allows us to suggest depth without overpowering the petals, and it also helps maintain the beautiful vein texture we already created. And if you're interested in learning another approach for inking light-colored petals, you can also check out a previous video where I demonstrated a different technique while inking a camellia flower. I'll leave the link for that in the description. And now we're going to lightly shade the folds and overlaps of the petals. This step is all about subtlety. Instead of heavy shadows, I'm placing light lines that follow the curve of the petal. Here, I'm creating small little lines at the end to create texture and the illusion of subtle continuity. When working in pen and ink, remember, lines don't just describe edges. They can describe surface and form. And the direction of those lines should always follow the shape of the object. And if you enjoy botanical drawing and pen and ink techniques, make sure to subscribe. I post new tutorials and process videos where we explore different flowers and drawing techniques together. And coming back to the center, we're going to add a bit of crosshatching to deepen the shadows and create more contrast around the stamens. This helps push the center of the flower slightly back in space, allowing the petals to feel lighter and more prominent. Cross-hatching is especially useful in areas like this, where we want to gradually build value without filling everything in with solid ink. Once that contrast is established, we can move on to the leaves and the stem. Moving on to the stem, I'm going to add a few textured lines along its surface. These small strokes help create the impression of natural texture while also adding a bit of dimension to the form. Leaves usually carry stronger contrast than petals, so I allow the lines to be slightly bolder here. Here, it's important to define the central vein and then build texture using directional lines and small areas of cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is especially useful for creating deeper shadows near the base of the leaf, where the light struggles to reach. This helps the leaves frame the flower and anchor the composition. Cross-hatching is also very useful for marking areas of shadow. For example, in this part of the leaf where the petals are overlapping, the light naturally struggles to reach the surface. By adding a few layers of cross-hatching here, we can suggest that shadow and help the leaf sit properly underneath the flower. These darker areas help reinforce the relationship between the different parts of the plant and make the drawing feel more dimensional. Please also notice here on this leaf the small clusters of cross-hatching I'm adding. These little groups of intersecting lines help suggest the natural texture of the leaf while also subtly defining the veins. And if you're enjoying this kind of detailed breakdown, feel free to like this video. It really helps more artists discover these tutorials, and it helps me identify if I should keep making more content like this. And please keep in mind that this is just one technique. Throughout my videos, you'll often see me experimenting and exploring different ways of drawing with pen and ink. That's one of the things I love most about this medium. There are always new textures, approaches, and discoveries awaiting to be explored. So as we continue drawing together, there will always be something new for us to learn. And as we move forward to the end of this tutorial, let's recap. What started as 3 simple circles and a few organic shapes slowly transformed into a detailed botanical drawing using nothing but lines. If there's one thing I hope you take from this process, it's this. The more you observe nature, the more your drawings begin to improve naturally. So keep practicing, keep observing, and keep experimenting with different line textures. And if you'd like to continue learning how to draw flowers using simple structures, make sure to subscribe. I have many more botanical tutorials coming up. See you next time.